Hi everyone, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel, everybody. It is Tuesday, February 15, 2022, guys. I'm here to give you the news of the finally, we all knew this was coming. It was just a matter of time. I think there's a lot of, to be honest, there's a lot of mystery surrounding the death of Halyna Hutchinson. And since the moment we heard what happened, and then after Mr. Alec Baldwin decided to do an interview, in October, after he said, not October, I think it was November, after he said he was not going to speak about it because he's not allowed to, there's a lot of stuff that we still don't know. And it was just a matter of time. So finally, the family of Halyna Hutchinson, you guys know who she is. This lady, I guess we can say that she died during the filming of the movie Ross, where Alec Baldwin was the producer and the actor, the main character in that movie. And everything that I spoken about her and everything that we heard from his interview tells you guys there's something going on. I always go back, to the, like, we all know how Alec Baldwin is. He's not an unfamiliar face, and we see him how he argues with the paparazzi way before this whole thing began. Okay, I can understand that now, that people perhaps I want to like poke him and provoke him and things like that, but this guy, even if he sees, in the past, okay, even if he sees a camera following him around, he will explode into anger. And I think that, we have to put that always into perspective when speaking about this case. And the reason that I say that is that when he spoke in that famous interview he did, after he said he wasn't going to speak about it because they're doing the investigation, he kept on saying, which it bothers me, to be honest, it bothered me that Alec Baldwin kept saying, I just did what I was told. Okay, we're talking about a movie set where there had a lot of people who were new to their positions, maybe their second or first film. Okay, so when you're combining a crew of people who perhaps are very new to their jobs, okay, and then they have the big star, which is Alec Baldwin, the most known person in that movie set, the most experienced one, it's very cowardly of him to just say, I just did what I was told. I am so sorry. I don't believe that. I never had since the beginning. Okay, Alec Baldwin is not a person that just follows what he's being told to do. Because if it was like that, even I personally don't know him, but if it was like that, it will show in his interaction with the public. Okay, it will show in the interactions when he's angry. I think when people are angry, you really know who they are. You really get to see who they are. So the moment he said, I just did what I was told, they handed a gun to me that had live bullets. I had no idea about that. Like, I always go back to saying, he's the most experienced one in that movie set. Okay, and for him to say, even though he was the one who was going to hold the gun, and say, you know what, I had nothing to do with this. He even say, I don't feel guilt. Okay, the gun was handed to me and it was a mistake, and I was just doing what I was told. Listen, I understand this is really a bad situation for him, but you know that when you are handing a gun, that's why George Clooney spoke about it, that even before they shoot that whole scene, he opens it, he shows it to the person he's pointing it at, and he shows it around, because you know what, he's trying to say, at the end of the day, if something goes off here, it's not going to be the armorer, it's not going to be the director, it's not going to be nobody else, because at the end of the day, I will be the one holding it, and you don't want to be the result of someone's negligence, because it can put your life at risk. You can be locked down for life. Okay, and this is what the scenario is happening here. And the fact that he's basically trying to shift everything and say, it had nothing to do with it, even though this guy was the actor, the producer, and the person holding the gun, you can't just be like, okay, let's move on. This was an accident. Let's continue on. So for me to see this lawsuit, the family did a wrongful death lawsuit against the producers of the movie, which also is Alec Baldwin, and himself, particularly himself. I just feel like we need more answers. They were looking for his cell phone a couple weeks ago. They were going to seize his cell phone to know what was going on. I gotta say, guys, I had many jobs, okay? I had a lot of jobs in the past. Not everybody can handle micromanagement. I'm not trying to say that Halyna was in micromanagement, but I go back to that key interview that Mr. Alec Baldwin kept saying, I just did what I was told. I just did what I was told. It comes to a point where if you have a lot of experience and you know for yourself that you're the most experienced person, most known person, the star of the movie in that set, it takes a very strong, well-grounded person to not let that go to their ego. That's just human nature, right? And then when you have somebody basically, kind of bossing you around, telling you exactly what to do, doing this and the other, like, it takes a very well-grounded person to just take that and continue on. And, we have to be so careful because anything could have happened, right? We don't know the answers, but this actor, okay, came on TV and said he doesn't feel any guilt. Are you kidding me? Okay, even if you know yourself, perhaps you didn't put the live fronts on that gun. Even if you know yourself, you didn't do anything. Like, the fact that the gun that you were holding was the thing that was used to take somebody's life away. Are you kidding me? Even if I had nothing to do with it, but I was still holding it, the guilt would be eating me up. And I'm not trying to say that he should have, sleepless nights and like go on depression, nothing like that. But at least say, like, have more sympathy or something, okay? Like, his ego is so insane that he couldn't even come to their, I guess, to put himself in their shoes, the family of Halyna Hutchins, and say, you know what, I can't believe what happened. And there was a lot of stuff that he said that didn't make sense. He said, I didn't even know she got hit, I didn't know what happened. And then you speak to everybody else, like you hear interviews of everybody else that was involved, and they're saying, oh, she went down on the floor and one of her friends was there with her, and then his hand was full of blood from her, and she kept saying, oh, that's not good. And then this guy's gonna say, I didn't even know it was a gun. Like, how stupid is that? That doesn't even make sense. I've never been in a movie set, guys, but you're holding a gun, okay, and you're shooting a movie, you're pointing the gun at somebody, and you hear, and you're filming to the point that you're pointing the gun at somebody, like he said, I'm just doing what I'm being told to do. And something happened when you take the gun out, and the person that's in front of you, whom you're pointing the gun at, goes on the floor, and you're gonna say, I didn't even know, like, what happened. I didn't even know it was a gun. It is so obvious that it was something that came from that gun. So, like, somebody else would have been jumping, like, what just happened? The way he came across in that interview, I think it did him a lot of damage, and I'm glad that he was like, I don't know, I still to this point don't understand the reason why he did that interview, because it's just, he take a hold even deeper for himself. I'm not trying to, oh, I wish he could have never, he could have lied or something, nothing like that. We want to know the truth. What I'm saying is, like, he thinks that people don't get it. He thinks that he's such a good actor that he can fool so many people. So, and that is just so upsetting, to be honest. That's so upsetting. I knew something was fishy since day one. I knew something was fishy. He can say everything. I'm sorry that my heater came on here, by the way, and the noise is a little black. But he can say anything he wants, saying, the crew, we had some issues with the crew. There were people that didn't know what they were doing, whatever. At the end of the day, Mr. Alec Baldwin, you are the one holding the gun. This is not your first game, okay? This is not your first rodeo. You've been doing this for years. You know what's up. You know how to do it, and you know that if something goes on, especially being a producer of the whole thing, you're going to be held responsible. Have some type of accountability. So to see this lawsuit is really a good stepping forward, I think. And this whole thing, he said in the interview too, I'm shooting a movie starting January. It was just a really bad accident that happened. I wish we can go, no, it's not. We're not just going to wipe it off and say like, oh, something happened, an accident happened, which never really happened. It doesn't happen that often. I think it happened like twice before. So, and movies are being done like every other second, right? Everybody knows that. So, it's not gonna be just crushed off and move on, okay? Something happened here, okay? And we know his character from just looking at him and the anger that he gets by being a celebrity. That's just what it is. You are so famous, you make a living by being a celebrity, and when you see a paparazzi, you go off. Like, are you kidding me? What do you think is gonna come from that? Okay, you did Saturday Night Live for how many years, and you're so famous. And the minute you see a paparazzi when you're in New York with your family, you don't want to be followed. You don't want to your picture taken. Like that is that is the career choice you did. It's gonna happen in your good days and in your bad days. That just comes with it, and that's that's what it is. And you think by now somebody like that will know already. So let me read you guys real quick to you guys this article. Lawyers for Halyna Hutchinson's family filed a wrongful death suit against actor Alec Baldwin on Tuesday, while releasing a chilling video reenacting the movie set shooting that killed the cinematographer. So there's a video out there. They wanted to show, I guess, some type of idea. The eerie animated footage titled Killing of Halyna Hutchinson on the set of Frost uses a computer-generated figures of Baldwin and others of the fated film shoot that day. It includes the moment the star allegedly pulled the trigger of what was supposed to be a prop gun with blank bullets. Just reading this whole video, things like that, I'm only thinking about one person. That's her son. Okay, because you're not only did you lose your mom, there's a controversy surrounding what happened, and then you gotta deal with all of that. So, if you have a moment, pray for this young, her son, and her and the husband too, the family, everybody, right? So, it includes this video that they created, animated video. It includes the moment the star allegedly pulled the trigger of what was supposed to have been a prop gun with blank bullets. There are many people culpable. Mr. Woman was the person holding the weapon. I mean, he's the one holding the weapon. This is not his first rodeo. Like, I'm sorry that you have to take accountability for your mistakes. There are many people, like I said, culpable, but for him shooting, she would not have died, said the Hutchinson family. Lawyer Brian Penich at the press conference, he said that. Baldwin is accused of firing the single bullet that hit and killed Hutchinson, then exited her body and struck direct to Joe Souza in the chest, I think it was. I know that he survived, but this happened, as we all know, October 21st, 2021. During the press conference, her family lawyer showed the nearly 10-minute animation video, which includes a gruesome moment depicting the bullet steering to Hutchinson's chest and skeleton and going across to the other producer. It's so crazy, the director, Joel Souza. It's so crazy because it's so weird the way Alec Baldwin came out and spoke on that interview. He didn't know what happened to her, but everybody else around knew. Like, what? All the rookies knew what was going on, and you were the one who didn't know? Like, okay. And I feel too for that young armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, because one, she said she wasn't sure. First of all, she was hired to do two jobs, right? Everybody's trying to cut corners these days. Hired to do two jobs, not a lot of experience. I mean, you want the person who's handling the guns and stuff to have a lot of experience, okay? Because even like whoever supplied the guns, the prop guns, like somebody who done that before will be like, you know what? One time I was doing a movie and I picked up the guns that we were gonna use and I checked each one of them because one time they left some live bullets in it. Somebody who has experience will know that, okay? But you never know. Like they hire everybody. The car that she had with all the guns were, because this happened right after lunch. This is so crazy because that's another thing. I go back to him say, I can just hear him say, I just did what I was told. I just did what I was told. When you're having a bad day at work and it comes lunchtime and you're like fed up with somebody telling you exactly how to do things, like you're thinking, I'm just gonna go home. Like, I just want this to end so bad. And I'm not saying that, but it's just a possibility. For some reason, for him, I cannot see that as a possibility. Okay, Mr. Alec Baldwin is not known to just do what he's told, just follow orders. That's just my character. I just do what I'm told. Like, are you kidding me? I can get that from like a different actor. We all know those actors that they seem kind of mellow, kind of just go with the flow, and I'm just here to do a job and go home to my family type of thing. Not like I'm gonna argue with every paparazzi I see because that's just who I am. I have no control over my anger or my emotions. Okay, so I just want him to be held accountable. That's it. He needs to like, we're not just gonna scratch it off and be like, oh, let's continue on with life. If an accident happened, they hired a lot of new people here. None of them knew what was going on. They gave me a gun with that live bullets, but excuse me, they gave you a gun to somebody who knew how to handle a gun. And from hearing George Clooney say, when I'm shooting a movie with guns, like I make sure I open it and show it to the person who is in that scene with me and everybody else around it. Like, it just makes sense because it's so tricky, so dangerous. You never know what could happen. Okay, so they did the wrongful lawsuit, and let me see. The lawyers claim Baldwin refused weapons training on how to perform the cross draw, which was the type of action he was supposed to do. So they're after him. Okay, so I just, to be honest, this is another step on this, and I don't want to make this video too long, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, let me know what you guys think. I feel that like I always say, nothing that you do, like everything that you do in the dark will come to light. And, let them investigate. Look at the phone records. What was the communication before that? Did he complain? Who knows about her? He can say 50 times she was my friend because we went to dinner the night before. Everybody who is your friend is not a good, like, you should not, like, there's a saying that, people say, not, I love, you have friends, but you're like, I will hate working with her. Like, because it can probably kill the friendship, okay? And yes, there are people who get along at work great, right? But then you don't want them to be your friend. And then there are people who are your friends that you would never want to work together with them. And he can say 50 times, I went out to dinner with her the night before. This guy, that's another thing that came to my head. When this whole thing happened, he's like, oh yeah, I met with the husband and the kid, and I took them out to lunch, and I, talked to them and took them out to lunch. Yeah, they're not just gonna go away. It's just not gonna happen, okay? So that was good that he did that. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's gonna take more than bringing them out to lunch, after it happened, to be like, okay, let's continue on with life. Stuff like this don't happen every day. Okay, they shoot movies every other second. Okay, people are always looking we all know there's like how many networks out there, how many channels, how many everything, content everywhere. There's right now, there's how many movies you think they're shooting at this moment. So it's not just gonna be washed off and like, let's continue on with life. I am glad to see this step forward from the family. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Thank you again so much for coming back to my channel. Have a good night. God bless.